Welcome back. It's 11 minutes to 2 and you're watching and listening to Alastair Stewart and Friends here on GB News, TV and radio. My next guest is Martin Campbell, who's the former chief advisor to Ofcom and now media advisor with the consultancy company Media Objectives. Great to see you, and thank you very much indeed. There he is, for joining us this afternoon. We've been talking a little earlier on about Rwanda and the role of the opposition parties in coming up with a clear-cut alternative. And I wove into it the idea that the media basically did not give the government policy a particularly fair hearing, and everybody was kind of going along with it being inhumane, horrible, and the rest of it. When you sit back and look at that, do you think really impartiality in the media, because the papers can do whatever they want to do, remains a troubling work in progress?
Alastair, I despair as far as news impartiality is concerned. And I think it's a real shame when you have people like Robert Peston doing tweets. I don't know if they were 2 o'clock in the morning tweets, were they? You know, about Boris being an elected dictator and this sort of thing. But what I can't get my head round, because maybe I'm just too old school, but what I can't get my head round is why privileged broadcasters like the BBC and like ITV and so on want to wallow around in the swamp of social media comments. I mean, Ofcom can't investigate social media comments for impartiality yet. There is an online safety bill going through, as you know, through the Commons. Maybe that will evolve into impartiality at one stage. But yeah, they're saying, oh no, we can't do anything about it because it wasn't said on air. But I mean, just because you can do it doesn't mean that you should do it. And I think the Peston thing in particular does show where we're at with news impartiality, and when there is so much confusion about, you know, what should have a tick and what should not. You know, ITV should be taking Peston aside and, you know, pinning him up against the wall, because to me, this is really just not on. It's going to see the BBC and ITV just sail down the river with loads of other channels.
One of the things that I made clear in my earlier conversation, and Aubrey Allegretti was here from The Guardian, very thoughtful, very intelligent young guy talking about it, was the fact that I celebrate I've been a broadcast hack all my life, never in print, apart from when people were kind enough to ask me to write about my grandchildren, whatever it might be. And I celebrate the fact that The Guardian, The Independent, and the rest of them can say whatever they want, as long as it's within the law and doesn't libel people and the rest of it. But broadcast media under Ofcom should be a beacon of impartiality, a go-to. Just give me the facts and I'll make my own mind up. When did that stop?
It stopped, I think, actually, with, I'm not obsessed with social media, but I think it stopped when social media and, for want of a better word, mainstream media sort of collided. Because, I mean, I'm like you, I'm an old hack, and many years ago I used to teach journalists, many of whom are on national stations now. And impartiality was the biggest thing that I could teach them. And the fact of the matter is, it's not easy to be impartial when you're a reporter. It's easy to be partial. Yeah, you know, but it's not easy to be impartial. And what we've lost, I think, Alastair, is there are effectively 2 ways of presenting news. There's news presentation, which I think should be giving people facts and letting them take them away and sort them out for themselves. Yeah. And then there's news programming, much like your own here and Nigel's show and so on, where lots of different views are put. But political editors, and I know there's been quite a fuss over Laura Kuenssberg and Peston as well. I mean, they've both got they both come in for problems over tweeting in the past. Political editors are an input to the news presentation side. And no way should we be having news presented to us by someone who we know is, thinks this, because clearly it's not an impartial presentation. And the whole celebrity thing works this way as well, with the way Peston puts his programme together, sort of throwing his arms around and screaming and and tweeting and so on. It really does bother me that no one is doing anything about this. I blame the BBC in many respects, actually, because they could have done something about this a long time ago.
Tim Davies, when he took over as Director General, said he would, and asked Richard Sambrook to help him guide him through the social media work in progress. Final question. Does the appointment of Michael Grade as chair of Ofcom in this specific context give you any optimism?
Well, only insofar as I think, it would be the same as you or I, an old hack who knows about these things, putting in some experience, because I think there are too many people who don't understand news impartiality, and Michael certainly does. I mean, I have some sympathy with the people who say, well, he's an analog chairman for a digital age, but he has experience, and hopefully he can put some common sense in there. But it's the channels themselves that have to act.
Martin Campbell, pleasure to talk to you, and let's do it again. So much more we didn't have time for as we inch towards the top of the hour. But for the time being, thank you, sir, and stay in touch.
You're welcome.
Welcome.